This is your 2020 Mazda 3 sedan, and according to Mazda Canada, it's been a few years since I've had a sedan, so figured I was definitely overdue for one. Let's go Quirks, Perks, and Irks. I'm with the Top Trim GT, and I love the redesign of the 4th generation. And yes, I know it came out last year for a 2019 model year, but still love it, still looks fantastic. You get the nice glossed out black grille, LED turn signals, LED headlights, LED day runners, and just a quick look at the headlight assembly and why I like it so much. Perk, you get this beautiful long strip for a turn signal. Perk, you get this nice circular shape for your daytime running light, and of course your regular headlight is LED as well, so no halogen anywhere and no fog lights. I think fog lights are kind of silly, so I'm happy that the Mazda 3 does not have it. And just, it's a nice, luxurious, upscale, premium looking headlight assembly, so I really like that. Let's back up, and one of two differences for 2020 is it's the finish of the 18-inch rim. Not a big fan. I'm more of a traditional 5-spoke rim guy myself. Here's a big perk, and it's not just the regular turn signal. So yes, it's LED, but you have it facing the front of the car. You have it facing sideways towards anyone that might be beside you, and you also have it facing backwards. So anyone coming up behind you and for whatever reason they don't see your big turn signals, there's that little extra one as well. So I really, really like the way that Mazda has got it forward, sideways, towards you, and outside. Here's a huge perk for me, and you don't see it a lot on non-luxury vehicles. Windshield wiper nozzles are actually embedded into the wiper blades. I can't get a good look there, so I'm gonna quickly duck around, make this segment a little longer than it should be, but I gotta show you what it is. So there it is right there, there's the nozzle. And it's so cool that a car that starts under 20 grand has this upscale look and feel to it, and I think that's a really cool move. Gives it a nice clean look on the hood. Let's back up, give you a side profile. All Mazda 3s, base, mid, and top trim get body colored door handles, and I think that's a good move. You can always tell a base model car because it's got black handles. Anyways, going around to the rear, more of the same. Love the assembly here. I love that the turn signal is LED, and B, very Kia Stinger-esque. You've got kind of the 4 separate bulbs. I think that's so cool. What a great look, and the nice Mazda signature look, and it looks absolutely gorgeous at night when both of these are lit up. Just so, yeah. I'm gonna quit raving about that because, well, you know how good it is. That's a look at the rear of the vehicle. Twin tailpipes, thank you, symmetry. Here's a quirk. If you want to open the trunk, you don't push there like you do with Hyundai, and there's no obvious buttons. What it is it's underneath here, and you push it, and that's how you open it. So I'll just take a step back and I'll show you. Just put your hand underneath the logo, lifts up. There's your trunk. I'll give you cargo space figures right now. It's not massive, it's not small. It's a pretty good amount of space. You get more in the hatch, and obviously the glass lifts up because it's a hatchback, but as far as space here goes, not too bad. Can fit a fair amount of things. I think this is on the wrong side. I think this should be on the driver's side. My 2 cents on that. Let's take a look at the rear seats of the 2020 Mazda 3. So there's a good outside look as we go in. The seats are fairly comfortable, leather trimmed, just like on the front seats. A couple of cup holders right there that folds right back up. Yes, your seats do come down, but the Irk here is there's a tab in the trunk you've got to pull. There's no release here or here. Another tiny Irk is, again, I have long legs. If you watched any of my reviews, you'll know that. So I have to sit all the way back. And there's really not a lot of leg room for anyone sitting behind me in this specific vehicle. That seat does go up a lot more, but just kind of keep in mind, not bad for leg space, but not great. There's a look up front, and pretty nice, pretty luxurious, just like the hatchback. And let's jump in and take a look. So as we go in, as usual, let's start with the seats. I've always loved Mazda seats. These thigh bolsters are just massive. There's a good look at it right there, and good stitching. Same thing with the side bolsters. Really, really thick, keeps you in place. Very, very nice. And let's take a quick look here. There is one of the speakers of 12 for the Bose premium audio system. All your window controls are there. Here's an Irk. See my hand up here? And I can see it down there. I wish that there was a cap on the bottom so that this could be used as a storage bin. And like, let's go from the top down. Like, it's just a little piece of plastic. That's all you gotta do. Just slap something right there. I think if I owned the vehicle, I would do like a makeshift bottom for it. It's my 2 cents on that. Let's jump in, take a quick look around again. Not much has changed from 2019 to 2020. I mentioned the rims are one of the changes, and the frameless rear view mirror is the other big change. So that's pretty much it. Now that that's out of the way, let's go up here. So digital dash in the middle, analogs on the outside. You control what you see on the digital dash right with the info button. So let's take a quick spin. So there is your driving information and some of your safety stuff, and then you go back to the normal screen. Here's an Irk top trim, 2 blank panel switches on the steering wheel itself. Not a fan of that. Here's another Irk, same thing. 2 blank panel switches. I wish they would have made these 2 the blanks and given you the first 3 as actual useful ones, because if you're looking at the wheel or looking kind of from the driver's seat, you could see that blank panel switch all day long. My 2 cents there. Here's a quirk. The memory seats are actually here as opposed to being, maybe down here or on the seat itself where it is on the Mazda 6. So 2 different options there, plus your trunk release. Here's a perk, little storage bin. I had a 2005 and a 2010 Mazda 3 top trim GT hatch, and it had this, so I love that they've carried this over. Automatic high beams, button is right there at the end of the stock. Way to actually use space smartly, Mazda. Well done. Everyone gets the 8.8-inch non-touch screen. Sorry, it's a little dark. Let me get that brightened up a little bit for you. There we go. Yeah, so that's standard fare, and I think that's a great move by Mazda instead of messing around with, oh, well, if you don't get the top trim, it's like 8.7 inches or just some tiny little difference. So I think that's great and wonderful. It's easy to use. You have the commander's dial right there, and that's how you run through everything. HVAC system. Let me get this out of the way. I'll get to this in a minute. I've loved it on the Mazda 3s I had last year, and I still love it. So minimalistic, it looks so good. It really declutters the entire area up here. Here's one of only 2 USBs. I wish Mazda gave me like 3, maybe 1 on the rear seats. A couple of cup holders up here, and the cover collapses, so you get that little descending bin of storage there. But here's the problem with having cup holders right in front of the gear shift and pushed so far up. I use recyclable bottles of water, and the problem now is it's not hiding anything, but it's in the way of the USB port. And if I put it over here, it's level with the heated steering wheel and heated seats, but it's just a little too close for me. I wish they would have reversed it and put the cup holders back here and pushed that up a little bit, but that's just me. I got your gear shift. I wish there was a little bit of branding here, little Mazda logo. I don't care for the piano block because it shows fingerprints and all sorts of stuff, and you can see some there, and I tried to clean it up there, but not all that well. A couple of scratches that I got with the car, so I think that's part of the problem with some piano black. Sorry as I get turned around. Here's something pretty cool. The armrest moves, obviously it goes up, and there's a fair bit of storage in here. Plus the cool thing is you can actually lift this little part up and put it into the other set of slots, and now you can have divided storage for whatever your needs are. All right, so let's do that. Push that forward all the way, and it gets that nice seal because it's got that nice rounded edge. I think it's a really nice move. Regular sunroof, standard on the GT. Nice manual shade because the less moving parts electronically, the less chances things can break. Let's do the drive. 2020 Mazda 3. I've got the GT version, so that gets me the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, 186 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque, all through a 6-speed automatic transmission. I'm going to flip gears, pardon the pun, and go straight to fuel economy. The all-wheel drive trim, which is what I have, has a 48-liter gas tank. The front-wheel drive version has a 50-liter gas tank. Fuel figures for this specific one, the Mazda 3 GT with all-wheel drive, are 9.2 in the city, 7.0 on the highway, and a blended total of 8.1. Not too bad. Over 450-ish kilometers that I've done for the week, I'm at 9.3. A lot of that's been city driving. I've also had to have the car idle for about, 10, 12 minutes while I've been doing this review. So that contributes to it. So I think, more of a realistic figure would be 9.1 or a 9.0. On the road itself, the 3 handles very well, and it's got Mazda's beautiful driving dynamics. So it turns well, it corners well, it really hugs the road. You feel so planted. I've always liked the way the three is driven. I knew that was going to mess me up at some point, and hopefully I got it out of the way early enough. So it feels good on the road, and it's a very quiet cabin. And if you somehow think that the cabin's a little louder than you'd like, crank up the 12-speaker Bose premium audio system. That'll get rid of any road noise for you. 2 stumbles pretty early in. Okay, this is it for stumbles. As far as the look and feel of the cabin, absolutely premium, upscale, high value. And Mazda's done that by going minimalistic. There's not even a touchscreen. You cannot use this as a touchscreen at all. It's all through the rotary dial here, and it's just everything's so small but yet well placed and easy to access. Like the HVAC controls, to me, are my favorite part of it, because it's such a small footprint on the actual interior of the car. Overall, the cabin looks and feels very, very premium, and that's one of the first things I noticed last year when I picked up the 3 hatchback. Speaking of hatchback versus sedan, I'm going to put a list on that side of the screen of the last few years in Canadian figures as far as who's got the hatchback and who's picked up the sedans. And it's a lot closer than I thought. And I thought a lot more people would jump towards the hatchback just for practicality, because kind of like a little SUV. The entire rear door opens, the glass opens, and it's easier to get things in and out. But, surprisingly, the sedan fared pretty well the last few years as far as keeping pace with the hatchback. The car is not lightning fast. It's also not turtle slow. It serves the Mazda 3 very well. Never in any of my time with this vehicle, or the hatchback for that matter, did I feel like, I don't have enough power, or if I put my foot down, it didn't respond fast enough. Let's talk about safety. Mazda's iActive Sense, wonderful, phenomenal, great. There's a list on that side of the screen as to what the iActive Sense includes, plus what this GT includes, which also features a premium package, which gets you a couple of extra options. But again, everything is on that side of the screen, and I think you're done reading it right about now. So you get adaptive front headlights with the GT, you get a leather trimmed interior, you get heated seats, you get a heated steering wheel, and you get a sunroof. And those are pretty much the big highlights, plus all the iActive Sense stuff. I like having more than less, because that whole buyer's remorse thing. So if I were in the market for this, I would definitely go the way this car is spec'd as far as the GT and the all-wheel drive. I'd flip out the white leather for black. Just that's my preference. And I'd probably go manual. I'm just saying. And interestingly, I mentioned this in the beginning of the video. My Mazda contact, Chuck, fantastic guy, said, Jay, A, you haven't had a sedan in a few years, and B, of all the Mazda 3s we've given you, you've always requested manual, and we haven't actually given you an automatic sedan, so this is my unicorn car. On that note, I will also put a list up right now of the split between manual and automatics as far as the last few years go in sales. As expected, there's going to be a huge disparity between automatic and manual, but people are still buying them. And if you're going to buy a manual, Mazda is one of the best ones out there, especially in the 3. We're not going to count the MX-5 because that's just a wonderful, amazing vehicle on its own that kind of just stands short and proud. No offense, Mazda. Other things that I like about the 3, I just love the looks. I love the front headlight assembly. I love the rear looks, and it's that Mazda signature lighting that makes this even more of a premium looking vehicle. And I love it because you don't expect Mazda to have such a premium look, but if the direction they're taking is any sign of what's to come in the next few years, plus the potential of the inline 6 rear-wheel drive new Mazda 6, I think Mazda is going to jump up a couple of notches and really be a stronger contender. As far as things I don't like, it's cup holders up front. Not a fan of that. The base model doesn't have much as far as active safety goes. I'm not really a big fan of that. A lot of the 2020 models in this class have a ton of standard safety features. So I'm hoping that maybe 2021 Mazda will jump up and give a lot more standard safety on their entry-level model. And I get it, it's, you know, you got to climb up the ladder, but I wish it had a little more. That's going to wrap up the review on the 2020 Mazda 3. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will do my best to get answers to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Be well, be safe, be healthy, and I will be back with my next car review sooner than later.